I think we're live. Fingers crossed. Had an issue with the Rumble last time I tried to get on. So far, it looks like it's streaming. Hey, Internet. Guess where I am? You'll never guess. I'm getting ready for a leadership summit. Went to a few last year where I got to meet the last president of the Black Panthers, Elaine Brown. Amazing woman. Just, I was there. First time I met her, didn't get to read her book, got her book autographed by her, got to take a picture with her. Amazing lady. Then last time we crossed paths, I was blessed enough to, have questions that I derived from reading her book. Got a lot of insights on the Panthers when they were, in their prime. Now just got the notification that her Black Panther housing that she was talking about last year recently opened up. And that's like an $80 million investment into a community, because the housing is it's meant to go to the least of the people who are chronically homeless, just getting out of prison, people who have a hard time finding housing. So it's just it's a fun experience, or at least the last few I went to. Now we got a different speaker. It's the brother of the new Captain America, and I really don't know too much about him. Matter of fact, I was talking to a student who's also an organizer. And the first thing they asked me when I was like, "Oh yeah, we met Elaine Brown, and now we're meeting this celebrity's brother." They were like, "What does he do?" And I was like, "I think he's pushing STEM. He's an engineer of some sort." And then they were like, "No, what do they do for their people, for their community?" Very astute question. Very, very astute question. I will put forward, we should be asking that about all these people who are claiming to want to run the country. What the fuck are you doing for your community? Like, let's look at someone like, let's say Kamala Harris, right? What does she do for her community? Nothing. What does she do to her community? Lock them up for nothing. She got rid of evidence that would have exonerated people who were on death row. She kept people who in past their sell by date or cell block leaving date, and she kept them longer because it was beneficial to have all that slave labor. Right? What does she do for her community? Nothing. Then you ask, how did she become the Democrats' nominee? Like, what was this process? Was this a democratic process? Did you get to vote for Kamala Harris? Did anyone out there vote for her? No. She was the least voted for candidate in 2020, the least liked person in 2020. The only reason they threw her on Biden's ticket was because there's credible allegations that he is a Klan member. Like the fact that he gives eulogies at Klan members' funerals, or the fact that he co-wrote the 1994 crime bill, which largely targeted Negroes, with Klan members like Strom Thurmond. Garbage human being. And this is him in his prime before the dementia, which is really not dementia. You've heard me say it before, I'll say it again. I think crack addiction is rotting his brain. I don't think it's him getting old. I don't think that people age that way. He's chosen for a reason. And Kamala's chosen for a reason too. She was talking about, oh, I'm that girl. Your busing policies directly affected me. But I'm willing to lock up other Negroes because it will advance my position in as the attorney general. It will also, get her into politics. She should have locked up Steve Mnuchin back when he was kicking out thousands of families illegally. She didn't. She let him go, and he ended up working on the Trump administration as Secretary of the Treasury. So it's just like it's one big club, and you ain't in it. Do they have diverse looking faces like Kamala? Yeah. Is she black? I mean, she ran as the first Indian attorney general. Now it's convenient for her to be black, but she doesn't give a shit about any of those constituencies. And it's just like it is disgusting whenever I see people. Well, it's mostly my family. My other black people just they've felt her wrath directly or indirectly, So it's just like my family is it's a tricky situation. A lot of them are military, and then they get jobs that go to people who were good in the military. Like prison wardens. Got some of those in my family. Parole officers. People who continue the wheels of the criminal injustice system. Even when it's the damage is inflicted on their own community, but they benefit greatly financially. They get all kinds of extras. But then, like the warden, the sibling who's a warden, lived in the next to the city with the prison that he was working at, and and the water smells like sulfur, like farts. With like a brand new mansion, the water smells like farts. I thought someone left a shit in the toilet. It's because they're poisoning that community. Even if you're one of the good, loyal subjects to the empire, you will suffer. I think Kamala, whatever the fuck, I just want to say pronounce her name in the most offensive way, because it was an article they were saying that there's a whole chunk of the black population that's not fucking with Kamala. More black people voted for Donald Trump than Kamala Harris. But they're saying that black dudes are white adjacent because they don't support Kamala Harris. I would love if Elaine Brown was running for office, I would go all out to support her. All right. Because I believe what she's trying to do. I believe that she's trying to build community. I see what she's doing for her people. All right. Kamala, she is just a filthy, disgusting, just a wart on society. She does everything to make all of our communities worse. And then now she's doing the fucking race card. Like, you got to vote. They had a Zoom call, white dudes for Kamala. It's like, it's about time we get behind a black woman, support a black woman. It's all these black women who got progressive white dudes in office. Like, what progressive white dudes are you talking about? What is Kamala progressive? What is that? Progressively worse? Like, she's worse than Biden and Trump. And it's just like, it's just gonna, like, have the Barack Obama effect. Like, people voted for Barack Obama. I'm one of them. I thought that he was gonna bring the change that the country needed to see. I thought we were gonna get out of these wars. I thought we were gonna get health care for all. He was a criminal, and he was working for a cabal of criminals. And and then now they're weaponizing this racial politics, make you feel bad. Like, if you don't vote for Kamala, you're racist. Joe Biden did the same shit when he ran in 2020. Well, if you don't know if you're voting for me, then you ain't black. Like, what? So it's a Klan member tells me what I have to do or not do to determine if I'm black? No. If how about if I get harassed by the police force that you weaponized against my community, I'm black. And that makes me want to vote against you. So it's just like, it's topsy-turvy, upside down world. But what are they doing for their community? Nothing. I mean, I guess their community is corporations. I'm personally of the belief that, you know, corporations should be out of business. They shouldn't be able to own property, shouldn't be able to own politicians, criminals is making society shit. Nate, I remember when you were doing all the employee evaluations so good. You're a very intelligent guy. I hope you're doing well. Staying busy. Still got employee evaluations, nateflix.net. So you can find the new ones. It'll take you to my Rumble page, nateflix.net. I'm going to be updating that because I also got like, I've been designing clothes for different organizations. I'm going to be putting some of that stuff up for sale for you to be able to get it as well. And just have like, you know, like this convention. Last time I had hella interest in all of the stuff I was wearing, which was designed by me. So that's gonna be a facet for nateflix.net. I gotta get all that. I took some pictures of some of the stuff, and then I'm still creating a lot of the stuff. So got some new designs that'll be over there shortly. But yeah, I think I already got the Black Panther shirt. I got different variants of this, and yeah, just it's revolutionary shit. It's radically threaded is the radically underscore threaded is the Instagram for the clothing, and I'll be updating that shortly. What is your conclusion on why Biden dropped out compared to what the media wants to tell you? Man, I think the general public caught on to his crack addiction. Even before that, he was addicted to whack. He was a whack ass president. And it's just like, you know, back in 2020 and 2016, they could run on Trump is bad. Trump is horrible. He's the worst thing that could happen. But now, after living under 4 years of Joe Biden, we can see Democrats are worse. This is something I was trying to tell people since they were trying to say, oh, but Trump. I was like, yeah, no, Trump is horrible, terrible. I will never vote for Trump. Democrats are worse. First, I was saying Hillary is worse because she had a long history, a long track record of being on the wrong side of history every time. And it's clear that she was doing that intentionally because she was benefiting from being on the wrong side. 2020, Joe Biden, he had an even longer track record of being worse. Depending on how you, I mean, they're both worse than Trump, no matter how you slice it. And it's like it's a Stokely Carmichael quote. He was like, yeah, you know, don't try to push that on me. Voting for the lesser of two evils. Evil is evil, you know. And Malcolm X, he compared the Democrats and Republicans to the fox and the wolf. Both got the same menu, right? I'll make a comparison a little more vulgar. Voting for Democrats and Republicans is like a corporation coming up to you and they're offering you two different condoms to rape you with. Like, do you want the blue condom or the red condom? I'm going to rape you with one of these condoms, but the blue condom is ripped for your pleasure. It has a BLM pin on it, has a rainbow, love is love stickers. I'm going to rape you violently. And the pin, the needle is sticking on the outside. So it's going to tear your sphincter or whatever orifice I decide to penetrate you in. So I'm going to rape you. You get to pick the color of the condom. And then when you say, no, I don't want either of these options. I don't want to be raped. Then they're like, well, you know, you're wasting your vote. Because everybody else is going to rape. Everybody else is going to vote for us to rape you guys. So we're just going to like rape you. But then, you know, the real solution is, okay, what if we all came together and then we like locked up the rapist? We locked up the corporations. And I think that's the solution. It's not in voting for one genociding war criminal or another. You know, like, let's not choose between this false dichotomy. We can count above 3. Even if you don't want to, like, I'm not even saying voting is the solution. Democracy is not a spectator sport. You don't just go in, push a button every 4 years, and then like expect these people to make your life better when they have a long history of doing everything to make your life worse. Like I said, what do they do for their community? What are any of these people doing for their communities? Nothing. So, Joe Biden, it was just like they couldn't hide it anymore. Not only was he just crooked and corrupt as shit, he's also the crack addiction. It had like eaten at his brain to such a point. Because you got to keep in mind, Hunter Biden was buying 21 grams of crack rock, and he's sure shooting was sharing that with his pop. I do believe that's why Joe Biden wrote the 1994 crime bill. I mean, yes, I think racism played a major part in it because he was and still is hanging out with Klan members. And they hate Black people, so they targeted Black people specifically for the most part. But I also think that was strategic because when you make crack illegal and you can lock up anybody buying it, that leaves a market open for him and his family to smoke all of America's crack. And that's something you're going to say it's a conspiracy theory. I got evidence to back that up. All kinds of evidence. Just look at Hunter Biden brazenly counting up 21 grams of crack rock to impress a prostitute. That's documented. Why is he doing that? It's because he comes from the Biden family. And Biden crackheads, they go all out. Balls to the wall with the crack smoke. At the end of the day, all politicians are fucked. I mean, if they got a D or R next to their name, I'll get behind that. I think some people get into politics trying to combat that. You never hear about those people, or they get assassinated. They get the Harold Washington treatment. You know, he got in corrupt ass Chicago politics. Then once he got in, they couldn't get him out because he was like he won the Black vote when it was a contentious fight between these two corrupt ass white people. Then once he was in office, white people who were voting against their best interests so they can like vote for the top 2 evil white people, they realized Harold Washington is better than all these other people who we could choose from. So white people voted him into office second time, and he died under mysterious circumstances. So most people, a lot of you guys probably have no idea who the fuck Harold Washington is. So just something worth keeping note of. Yes, most politicians are bad. If they're a household name, they're garbage. The good ones, yeah, you never hear about. I mean, I'm trying to start a campaign where we get Julian Assange on the ticket. He can run with Edward Snowden, and we could call it the Whistleblower's Revenge, where we get them in office, then they go after the organizations that targeted them. I mean, that sounds just to me. Corporations are legally people. Yeah. That's why I say that white supremacy has transmorphed into corporate supremacy. And these corporations, they'd love to put a diverse face on top of them. So when they rape you, it's just like you feel like it's equality. Like you have to let it happen. Like, oh my God, we did them so wrong for so long. And now it's time they get to rape us back. Let's vote Kamala. No. You're not racist for not voting for Kamala. Kamala doesn't give a fuck about you. She is a psychopathic warmonger. Joe Biden, you're not good to old people for voting him in office. That's elderly abuse. He's a Klan member. His son hangs out with fucking Nazis. We're talking about the worst of the worst. We're enabling like these horrible people to get away from justice. When what they need more than anything, and what we need for our society to not crumble, is to bring these people to justice. You got to think like these motherfuckers are trying to stoke war with nuclear powers. You think any country is going to trust us as long as we got this corrupt ass government in office? The only way they'll trust us is if we bring them to justice. So we gotta make an effort. We gotta like let's send George Bush and Dick Cheney to Afghanistan and make them pay for their crimes. Let the people of Afghanistan decide what to do with them. Let's send fucking Barack Obama to Syria, to Libya. Let them decide what to do with them. I mean, Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden can go with them. They signed off on Gaddafi being bayoneted in the anus to death, and then just killed on camera, tortured for no reason. I mean, he was just trying to uplift his community. Had a gold-backed dinar getting away from the dollar. Now every other country is catching on. He was ahead of his time. But we tried to scare everybody else in line. And look how that's working for us. The petrodollar is dead. Our money is connected to nothing. We're about to see crazy inflation. We're already seeing it, but it's only going to get worse because our money is connected to these sick fucking psychopathic billionaires and trillionaires. And as long as they have access to all of our money will continue to get as valueless as them. So our money is just going to continue to go down because they're piling up, and it's not, workers' wages are driving up inflation. No, it's motherfuckers who have more money than they can ever spend continuing to accumulate it. And I say have more money than they can ever spend. Then I'm looking at the new robot technology. I'm thinking that they're just saving up for some robot armies because they think that's going to save them. Because the soldiers are catching on to them too. You got people like Aaron Bushnell. He'd rather set himself on fire than kill a Palestinian child. So I think we're going to see more and more of that kind of consciousness because a lot of people, they just do what the military tells them. Then they suffer from moral injury that makes them want to kill themselves. And if they don't kill themselves, then the military exposes them to enough carcinogens where they'll die of some fast-acting cancer. So it's just like the military is catching on. You can only keep them in the dark for so long. So it's just they understand that they need these robot militias. So that's why we got to get this revolution going before they get to the T-2000 or whatever, the liquid Terminator. The one that can just take shots and just not be fazed by it. We got to do the revolution before then, and then we can like put the technology into the people's hands, have total transparency, abolish non-disclosure agreements so we can see what they've been doing behind the scenes, lock up the criminals who pay for non-disclosure agreements because that's nothing but a way for criminals to hide their predatory nature. Abolish patent system because they only buy patents to keep stuff from making it to the market, either competitor stuff or something that would make the profit the invention that they're profiting off of obsolete. Like they're not going to give you a device that turns all of the toxins into your water into energy and then gives you clean water, because that's putting out multiple industries. That's putting out bottled water, billion-dollar industry. That's putting out all kinds of energy companies. They want you to have the worst of the worst as long as it's profitable for them, and then they get subsidized with taxpayer money. So that's all that shit's got to go. That's why Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and Donald Trump, they're all stewards of this current economy. They're profiting off of this corrupt ass shit, and they gotta go. They shut down multiple weed shops here in NYC because they're making money without the government. Well, I remember when I was in SoCal, they were shutting down weed shops constantly. It'd be like, when I first started smoking weed, I was going to all the different shops because different ones had different prizes for being a first time shopper. So I was getting a sense of different weed spots. Then, like every weed spot I was going to was being shut down systematically. I'm like, what the fuck? Then I found out they had like it was a mayor in an Orange County city. And I'm sure they weren't the only one, but this was the one I found out about in the news because they were taking kickbacks. Like it was like a $50,000 kickback that you had to give him for him to like not have your weed shop raided. And he was basically putting out competition of people who were funding him. So yeah, it's corrupt as shit. So I'm like, all of these motherfuckers, they have to atone. We have to see them like go from like above the law, I have more money than I can ever spend, to like locked up in jail. Then I mean, I'm even willing to let them get out as long as they're so broke, like they get their first overdraft fees. I want to catch that shit on camera. They turn their life of poverty into a reality TV show. And then take away anything that they can kill themselves with. So they can't have shoestrings. Because once they start getting all these fees and charges, they're gonna want to kill themselves because they don't know how to live if they had to go through your struggles. This is like something I've noticed. like they just the most basic struggle is something that they will crumble under. At least that's my experience with people who come from money. So that's why I just turn it into good entertainment. I mean, I understand there's an argument for the guillotines. I argue for the reality TV show. Plus, I want to get the big fish. You just start cutting off people's heads. We can't get the ringleaders. I want to get them good and locked up, have them roll over on, different people, and then we just get like the real because the richest people in the world are people you never heard of. I mean, you may have heard of their families, but then they act like their families just ended up being broke. Like the Rockefellers aren't on the top 10 Forbes list. Rothschilds. These are names. These people pay good amounts of money to keep their names out of our mouths, and they fund people like fucking Bill Gates. He was funded by the Rockefellers. It's a big cabal and you ain't in it. What's been going on with your life? Ow. Well, right now I'm getting ready for a leadership summit. So, last one I went to, got to chop it up with a Black Panther. Now I'm gonna hear from the brother of Captain America. Not super excited. I'm interested to see why they chose him next after Elaine Brown, but I'm not gonna knock it till I experience it. But I'm also it's just like you get to San Diego, it's very similar to my hometown in many ways. Like Coronado Island reminds me of Mare Island. It's a naval base, a place where they made a lot of the ships for World War II, and it's still got heavy military presence. And I'm pretty sure they're being poisoned too, just like Mare Island was. So it's just like I'm interested. I would like to see the militancy. If I hear a speaker tell me you got to vote for Kamala, I know they've been infiltrated. So I'll have an update for you when after I hear from the speaker. Got a fun conspiracy theory. Biden tried to assassinate Trump. He pulled up on Trump. I think the Democrats know that Biden can't beat Trump. And they knew that before the debate. This Kamala Hail Mary, I think is going to backfire. I mean, they could try to shame white people into voting for a black war criminal, or someone who now says she's black and who's pro-genocide. But I like to hope that people vote on policy. Kamala, no. More black people voted for Trump so far. I think that trend is going to continue. Aside from people like my family who's loyal to the military, even when the military ain't loyal to them. I think outside of them, it's just like there's no audience for Kamala. Biden pulled up in diapers and trying to kill Trump. I resent that. I don't think Biden wears diapers. I think he wears regular big boy underwear, and he just so happens to shit in them, and he pisses in them because he likes the feeling. He likes the fudge sluicing between his cheeks. That's my theory. Okay, I don't want to hear this stuff. Biden's old. He's a crackhead. Okay, acknowledge that first before you start talking about his age. His crack addiction is what has him looking bad. So you're not voting at all? I mean, I might vote for the last person I voted for in national elections, Jill Stein. She's in it. I mean, she's someone who's against genocide. What did she do for her people? She showed up for Palestine. She showed up for the Dakota Access Pipeline. She showed up. She didn't have the billions of dollars that the Democrats and Republicans have. She never had like that position of power to do something, but whatever power she had, she did the right thing. So that's something that I feel like I can take a few minutes out of my day, show up for her since she showed up for all those people. But like I said, the democracy is not a spectator sport. You don't just go and push a button and expect someone to do something for you. We got to have movements. You look at all good presidents in our history. It wasn't a president who just had like a heart of gold. We had movements to pressure them to do the right thing. We moved them the right direction, right? And then they usually misdirect us. Like FDR, he didn't want to give people a 40-hour work week. He didn't want to like end children working in fucking slaughterhouses. We had movements that made him do that, right? And then what he ended up doing was a little misdirection because they were around that time they were Ukrainifying America. So the Brits, they signed the Lend-Lease program during World War II, where we started making money from weapons. Then we started having entire economies built on the military-industrial complex. Then we started sending soldiers in there. Then we just started normalizing war, right? And then we just had like these industries of death that haven't been shut down since. They've only escalated. And now they're reaching the apex. And now we're run by apex parasites. So they got to be locked up. And it's not going to be voting for one of the top two evil candidates. They're all with it. They're all with fucking destroying your community. Oints. But why say unsubstantiated shit? Or oints, but why say unsubstantiated shit? It lessens the legit point that you're making. What's unsubstantiated? But you don't think that the corporations run all of our government officials, all of the Democrats, Republicans? I don't know what's unsubstantiated. Nice Matrix reference, blue or red pill. Oh, the blue or red dildo? Or blue or red condom rape? That's more the Democrats, Republicans. Yes, they got difference in color, and then they both want to rape you, destroy you. But one's blue, one's red. They got different stickers. I mean, yeah, it's all cosmetic, all the differences. So I'm outside of that dichotomy. seems like you just want to talk without responding to the people who are listening and interacting with you. I've listened to you for years, but what? What? Okay. See, it would help me if you were, because I'm like reading the comments. I had to go into my soliloquy, setting it up because um, last live stream I did, all of my issues with Kamala didn't get broadcast on Rumble, and now it's just I'm setting the table because I'm a little skeptical about this event, um, because it is. I mean, it's beautiful. I love the fact that we're getting all these new resources for these organizations, but I'm also skeptical. Um, and I'm just like I'm setting the table because if I hear somebody, any of these speakers, tell me we got to vote for Kamala, I'm gonna start flashing. I'm just gonna like I want to have a link to something like here's my opinion on Kamala. What is she? And just like have like um, laundry list of things people can choose to listen to or not, you know. But it's really is. I mean, because I haven't even gotten to all of the meat and potatoes of why I really just don't like not just her, any Democrat, any Republican, right? And then all the fear mongering, but Trump, all this stuff, it just makes me just like hate the Democrats worse because none of them put forward like, what is your okay? Trump is bad. Tell me why people should vote for you without saying Trump. No one can. They can't do it. That's the most vexating shit to me. So like I'm kind of setting the table for if I do have this corporate bullshit, which I'm kind of suspecting. Because unless Elaine Brown is still there, she don't have to be the main speaker. But I know she ain't got nothing nice to say about Kamala. Last year she was talking about yeah, people talking about we got black billionaires. Riri, Rihanna, she a billionaire. She ain't a billionaire. Look at where she got her money from. Lancome Perry, she ain't make that money. That money, those people, that's their money, and they own her with that shit. What is she doing for her community, right? Um, so I'm sure Elaine Brown wouldn't have the shit nice to say about Kamala because she went after specifically Californian communities, and what Elaine Brown is doing is trying to provide some kind of a repair for the damage that Kamala's done. So if we still got that fire and all that stuff, that's great. But if we just got people telling us to line up and get behind the melanated face that doesn't give a fuck about us, yeah, I just want to have evidence that I was against it before it was proposed, and I kind of saw it coming. Even though I'm not saying that that's the case because I don't have the hard evidence yet, but I just when I see these kinds of changes, I get a little skeptical. But oh, he's speaking facts. Well, thank you. I do what I can with what I got. Julian and Edward Snowden would be a good combo. That's what I'm saying. Why don't we have a party for that, like a whistleblower party? Shit, we can have John Kiriakou. We can have any whistleblower who did the right thing and risked everything and have the state go after them, go after the state. That makes the most sense because they got the issue with the people and they know who to target because they know who is targeting them. I mean, let's make that happen. I'm down. You give me a couple $1 billion, I'll put together some kind of a party on that. I missed the YouTube videos there, but I missed the YouTube audience. A lot of the YouTube videos are on Rumble. But yeah, fuck YouTube. Fuck YouTube to its core. I like to see YouTube fucked so thoroughly and destroyed. just busted up. It was started with or Google was started with government money. Google bought up YouTube. Google bought up all kinds of shit that was dope and made it horrible. Made it a mechanism of control. So fuck YouTube. But I love the YouTube audience. I love the YouTube people. Oh, snap. Okay, so this is not going Off topic, but will you ever return to YouTube? Fuck YouTube. Are you a Knights In or Super 8? Something a little more hoity-toity. Your videos got me through some shit. Well, I'd love for your shit to get through my videos. Yes, for Jill Stein. Yes. Nate had a banger videos back in the day. Well, thank you. Thoughts on Venezuela? Free it. Fuck my government. I want to see all the war criminals who are going after Venezuela locked up. Same as when they were first being persecuted by the people, the coups that Trump threw. I was against those. I'm against the democratic coups. I'm against all this injustice. I'm for persecuting the real criminals, and they're domestic. Our real enemies are not another country. It's the corporations who run our government. All right, internet. I'll I'll probably get back. I'm gonna be in a different living situation. It's gonna be a little more hectic where I'm going next. But I'll have an update for you, whether or not the leadership meeting ended up being what I kind of think it's gonna become. So I'll hit y'all up as soon as I figure that out. We'll do this more often. Yeah, so let me get off before this dies. Toodles, and be good to each other.